with that. Sometimes that's what you have to do, is say, go back and think about that just a little bit more, and I bet you'll have a solution.
If I could share an example, I had been transferred to a boys' branch, a senior boys' school. And there was also this girls' school within that same campus. And there were regular routine activities, fun activities on the girls' side, but there were none on the boys' side. And so when I checked, I found out that it was the behavior issue, and every time there was given an opportunity to go for a concert or an exhibition, it would always end up in a bad mess. So I called him. These boys came in and they said that, because I was new there, so they wanted to now come up with this.
Yeah, what could we give out?
So, you don't know what the school is going to have. And so they asked me, I said, and so why do you think you're not having this? I was already informed. So I asked them, I said, why do you think you're not having this? He said, because the school administration doesn't take any initiative. So I said, okay.
Class. Some of the things that you can do with kids, creative play, we've talked about that before, that creative play is important for children. They develop, they learn from that. Hands-on activities. Now you know, if you see it, say it, and do it, you're going to learn it better. It's just one of the ways that we learn. Continuing story concept. Sometimes you don't need to let the lesson stop. Let it keep going. Let it build as they build knowledge and skills. And then role playing. You know, kids love to role play. All children like to dress up and get in front of the class and be somebody. My daughter decided one day, they were having their little thing at school, and she came to me and she said, Mommy, do you have a suit I can wear? And I said, a suit? And she said, yes, and it needs to be red. And I said, oh, it does. And she said, yes. And I said, well, oddly enough, I think I have a suit. And she said, okay, do you have stuff that will make my hair gray? And I said, trust me, time will do that. But I said, yeah, I can make your hair gray. And she said, do you have some glasses I can wear? And I said, I have some glasses you can wear. I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm going to be Eleanor Roosevelt, who was one of our president's wives. And I said, why are you going to be Eleanor Roosevelt? She goes, oh, I didn't tell you that part. I've got a book report. I would have thought the book report would have come first in the conversation. Eleanor Roosevelt was more important to her. Now, this is one of my favorite signs. I wish every school had a sign like this, Land of Make-Believe. Because really, when we're in school, we get to be the land of make-believe. We get to take them on adventures everywhere. Now, you have to encourage creativity. It doesn't just happen. And there are things that you can do. You have to have an environment that allows exploration. You have to give them a choice of materials. You have to have time for creativity, and that is our biggest enemy as teachers, is time for creativity. You have to have exposure to a diversity of cultures. The school where I was principal in, I had 33 ethnic groups and 11 languages spoken in my school. And one of the reasons that I chose that school was because of the diversity in it. I loved it. We had kids from all over the world and all different religions, races, and it was the most fabulous place to work because all those kids could learn from each other. And they really learned a lot about world views. We had a big multicultural fair where everybody got to dress up in national costumes, and they had a big parade, and they told about their countries, and their parents got involved. They'd bring food in. We'd have tasting contests, and see which, they do votes on which kind of food they like the best. All kinds of things that could come out of that. You have to have concrete inspiration. We've talked about guided questioning. Sometimes if you just say go out and do something, or give them a blank sheet of paper, what do I do with it? They need a little bit of concrete inspiration. And you need an emphasis on process over product. Another big problem for us as teachers, because unfortunately we're expected to have product. You have to accept unusual ideas by suspending judgment. And you have to use creative problem solving in all parts of the curriculum. It's not in one place. It should happen in every single thing you do with children. And you need to use the previous knowledge that creativity depends to some extent on reproducing ideas. I have the best story about this guy. He had decided that he was going to develop something brand new. He said, I really think that canes should have wheels on them because then you wouldn't have to pick them up when you walk. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? He said, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, I hated to tell him. Somebody had already done that. But he came up with this idea, and it was really a good idea. But from that, he came up with something else that he actually was able to have manufactured. But he was convinced he had it with the cane with the wheel on it. Not quite there. Now, the biggest thing that we have as teachers that we have to worry about is the barriers to creativity. We're all stuck with that. I don't care what we do. We've got time constraints, we've got money constraints, we've got parent constraints, and sometimes we've just got too many things happening. But we just have to make ourselves take a little time to do this stuff. Now finally, you have to understand that there are a variety of creative levels. You have fluid creativity, the kind of creativity you use in your everyday life, just like I was talking about getting up and trying not to fall over the pile of clothes on my floor. I know I need to go a certain way. And then you have crystallized creative thinking, where you know the solution to the problem and what kind of knowledge is required. Mature and expert level requiring domain-specific knowledge. You have to go out and do some research. And then eminent creativity that many disciplines value and is valued in many venues. Now, creativity is a big topic. It's like trying to herd chickens. If you've ever had to go and get chickens, unless you have sense enough to put grain down and have them follow you back, I spent an entire half a day once at my neighbor's house trying to herd the chickens back in when they got out. I decided at that point all the chickens were going to die. I didn't care. But I finally got them in. Now, let's go to the wiki site real quick, and then we're going to get out of here and see if it works. May not. Ha. You don't know how happy this makes me after the other time. All right, when you link to the creativity website, you'll have all these things. Now, there's some information on there about me if you want it, how to get in touch with me. And this is the newest thing that's come out that we're having a lot of our students do. And this wiki site is a free site, so you can use it, but unfortunately you get all the ads on it too. But you can go to my wiki site, there's information, my artwork is there, my portfolio's there, anything on my background that you need is there. And then we'll go to the presentations because that's what we're the most interested in. Let's check over here. Now, those of you that were in the creation station, all you have to do is click on the link there. I'm so glad to see it. And then for today, creativity across the primary curriculum, if you click on the link, below it, all of the links are there. And if you don't do anything else, watch this video by Ken Robinson. It will make you laugh. It's going to take a minute to come up. Articles that you can read, teaching creativity. Here's the video, and all you have to do is click on the arrow, and there you are. Teaching creativity, there's all kinds of websites, lesson plans that you can use. And then all of the books that I've talked about are recommended, and they're right there with the publisher, so you'll know where to get it. So, I hope in the 2 days that you've been here, you've learned as much as I have. I have to say, I've learned a tremendous amount about your country coming here, researching and coming over. I've fallen in love with it. I want to come back. And I hope if any of you ever come to the States, you'll look me up and come and visit. Because, one thing I found, and I found this everywhere I go, is that teachers are teachers. I've been to Denmark, I've been to Holland, I've been to Pakistan now, I've been to all parts of the United States, and I never met a group of teachers. We all have that common bond of working with children. And it just amazes me that no matter where I go, teachers are teachers. And you can put a group of teachers together, I don't care if they don't speak the same language, in 10 minutes they have something in common, and they're friends. Because they can always talk about Clint. So thank you. I've enjoyed having you in here. Anybody have questions before we leave? Yes.
One question, that when we talk about creativity and implementation of that creativity in the classroom, how do you think we can make it possible when we have restraints over the system, as like that links back to the question over there, that when it involves us into free-thinking skills of documentation of planning, and when we are dealing with the emergent curriculum within the classroom and promoting creativity, how do you think these two things can go together?
Well, I think what you have to do, and we all know this, that when you want to do something different in the classroom, sometimes you have to sell it to the boss. Now, I found that usually the best way that I could sell things to my boss was to say it was going to make kids do better and make them smarter, and that I was using something that was going to enhance their skills on that test. Now, it also did a lot of other things, but if it made her happy to hear that, I would say it. Because I knew in the end it would, because they were doing creative problem solving. So what you have to do is a good sell job on this. You know what you're doing is going to make them smarter? Just say it. It's not about just having fun and going out and doing crazy stuff. You're helping those children develop skills that are going to get them through the rest of their lives.
But if the system requires you to write a whole document about the whole term curriculum, how do you expect the teacher to do that when we are dealing with emergent curriculum?
I have some links on this site that you can borrow from freely. I also have a paper in there about the importance of creativity under creativity links. One of the things they asked us to do when we came to this, they said, we'd like you to send us a paper you published on creativity. And I thought, I haven't published any papers on creativity. I talk about it all the time. So I sat down and I wrote, had it 2 days, wrote my little paper up. But everything that I thought about kind of just gelled in that paper. So I think that might give you some ideas, and I can also give you some other strategies. If you want, you can sit down and talk, because I'd love to come and visit your school. But there are things that you can do. And one of the uphill battles that I think we're facing as educators is the fact that change doesn't come easy in education. It never has, and I don't think it ever will. But it's something that we know we're going to have to do. Y'all are lucky working in a system like this. I mean, I've been to a lot of professional development workshops. I've never been to one of those. I mean, I've never been to one where I really felt that the top administrators valued their teachers. And at this gala that we had the other night, Mr. Kasuri came up and was talking not about us, but about how wonderful the teachers were and what an impact you made on children's lives. And, I don't know if they say that enough to teachers. We always love to hear it. But you are the ones that this is all about. It's not about, somebody coming in and telling you how to do things better. It's about you taking those ideas and actually applying them and using them. If you see an idea, then you know it's not going to work. You're not going to use it. But hopefully what you've gotten out of this is the fact that they want to empower you. They want to make you leaders. And they value what you're doing. And I mean, last night's gala, I'm sorry, where I work, we've never had a party like that. It was pretty impressive. All right, I hope you all have a great day. Thank you. I have enjoyed it. Thank you so much.